I am so excited to invite up to the lectern DTM Lorraine Campbell, who is going to be breaking down simple steps to doing your speech so it doesn't take us a year and a day to get one done. Can you please make some noise and welcome DTM Lorraine Campbell to the stage? She's so exciting. All right.
Hey. How's everybody doing? Good. All right. I think I'm going to give Claudia a working out today with my Oz, because even though I take a lot of roles to do, I don't speak a lot. So I'm going to be working on my ers and ms, just like everyone else. We're going to talk about how to construct a speech so that you can put a speech together really quick on the fly, or when you have to do one, you don't have to struggle to put a speech together. And we want to be able to have enough of our members that have a speech that we can fill the calendar and that we have really good meetings. So I think I left it on the front there. If you didn't print out that one's for you guys. If you didn't print it out, that's what it looks like. And I did make one small change on the ones that I sent out to you guys, and you'll see that. So are you ready, Deborah?
Yes, ma'am. Can you see my screen?
Let me pull out my phone so I can keep an eye on the time this way, because time is important. Start.
Mr. Timer, this segment is going to be about 10 minutes. So if you could just put some time on the clock for 10 minutes, please.
Okay, I put 12, but that's all right. We're making this happen. Okay, so when we're looking at putting together a speech, the adage that I've been talking about for a very long time, which was taught to me by my mentor back in 2006, is tell me what you're gonna say, then say it, then tell me what you've said. Thinking that people are simple, but people are simple. It's like the KISS theory. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't overcomplicate putting together your speeches. Why? Because you have to convey it to people, and way too much information, mind-blowing. And you want people to track you, understand, take the information, do something with it. You definitely don't want to spend your time writing the second coming and you finish delivering it and you're like the end, and you get it's ego crushing. So let's work on pulling together a presentation that is going to get you a standing ovation externally and a standing ovation internally. So like a good songwriter, some songwriters come up with a title, then they come up with a song. Some songwriters come up with a song, and then they come up with a title. There's no right way or wrong way. There's just your way of coming up with a title. So the next slide, you get the next one, roll that. That's right there. So we're gonna call this speech, Don't Blow the First Driving Experience. I've used this one because if you live in Florida and you have to take public transportation, I am so sorry. But the rest of us, we drive, and everybody's got a driving story. It is an experience. So with every speech that you're gonna do, you're gonna have 3 points. Keep it simple. The average person can track 3 things that you've said. You'll lose them at 4 and 5, unless you have to. But keep it simple. So let's go to the next slide for the 3 topics that we're going to be talking about. So topic 1 is taking the road test. Topic 2 is the driving lesson, and topic 3 is drive the dream car. Now, each topic that you choose is its own connecting story. So when you're thinking about putting that together, the story, it has to blend. It has to, don't talk about teensy flies and tell me how a watermelon grows unless it makes sense. So they have to make sense, even though they are 3 stories. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to keep saying this. When you're doing a presentation, you're not doing a presentation to a bunch of rocks in a room. You're doing a presentation to people, human beings that feel, see, smell, touch, taste. So you need to use those senses so that you connect with us. That's what's important. That's what makes a good presentation, one that connects with people. And a driving experience will connect with some of you because I've heard some of your driving stories. Next slide, please. Okay, so my experience was walking to Sharnice's house, signing my mother's signature, passing the test, and my parents were proud of me. That's my first story. And how that first story starts a little like this. Sharnice lived 2 doors down from us. So I would knock her door on the way to school. One morning, I knocked her door and she says, I'm not going to school today. I'm going to go in at lunchtime. You tell, why? I'm going to take my road test, my written test. I've been practicing for 2 weeks. And I was annoyed because she never said anything that she was going to be taking the written test. In New York, you can take it at those days, 15. And you could drive with somebody, you got a junior license. And I went, really? How much is it? $5. I was a babysitter. I had money. $5, we don't have to go to school until afternoon. I'm in. The book, it was kind of thick, and I'd never really looked in the book, but I could kind of drive. And I went, okay, hand signals, right, left, stop, right, left. The only thing I read in there. So to make a long story short, we go to take it. The lady hands us a paper and she says, oh, your parent needs to sign the permission because you're a minor. And I went, oh, she's in the car. Hold on. Took it outside, signed my mother's name. I signed Sharnice's one, and we go back in. She fails. I pass. Walk with her for 40 minutes back to school, and she didn't talk to me. Kind of told another little story because when I got home with my junior license, I showed my parents and they were like, oh my God, I'm so happy. So when did you do this? Remember the permission slip that you signed for us to go to school last month? Well, this was one of the things on there. We took I sure did lie. And my mother bought it. So you see the story. Sentences that made the story for our first talking point. All right. Talking point. The talking point is driving lessons. So with driving lessons, I have 3 talking points, but you'll realize with your talking points, if they're going to be a little bit longer, you don't need 4, but 4 will fill a paragraph for you. So my dad was a mechanic. He had 2 VW Bugs. One was an automatic and one was a semi-automatic. That's a whole nother kind of stuff. I don't think they make those anymore. And he thought it would be best to teach me on the full stick, clutch, the whole 9 yards. So if anybody's ever learned how to drive on a manual transmission, you know, right there, how hard it is. You've got to sink the clutch, foot and gas off at the same time while you shift it into gear and you bunny hop. You do that. And you're gonna bunny hop. And I bunny hop, but I was frustrated because I wanted to drive. I was on our dead end block. And I was annoyed and I stepped on, I was grinding the gears and the seat flew back. My little feet accidentally slammed onto the brake. The car jumped the curb onto the grass. The turf, tore up all of the grass. And the only thing I could see as I was trying to steer and my dad was screaming at me was the headlights on the front of the house as I was about to literally drive the car straight through the center of the house until he grabbed the park brake and yanked it up. There was a lot of F-bombs that he dropped about how to get out of the car. And for about a month, trying to save the lawn. So we see how the first point and the second point make sense. They all have to intertwine. So let's get to the third point. Okay, so the third point is driving the dream car. So my dad was a mechanic. He worked at Ford and he bought his dream car. His dream car was a 1979 brand new Ford Thunderbird. I looked it up just to remember what it looked like. It's huge. It's like a tank, but it didn't look like a tank. Size on the road, but it was red with red interior. It was just a loud car. Parking in the garage. Once you pulled it in, it was about ½ an inch on either side to get the car in and out. My mom tore down both sides and was never allowed to back that car out ever again. And one morning, Sharnice and Yvette, my neighbors who I would pick up on the way to school, I was running late and we would walk. And I passed the garage and I looked at it. Go get the keys, because parents are stupid. Do not leave extra keys in your house for your kids. I'm just telling you. And they were like, are we taking the car? I was like, girls, we are taking the car today. And I remember getting in the car. Heart thumping. As soon as my body get off and rolled it out, got on the driveway, I was like, Sharnice, pull that garage down. And off to school. I was like, where am I going to park the car? Where no one will dent it, scratch it, or ding it. Park it in a principal's parking spot. Park it in a principal's parking spot. For about 5 months, I drive that car every day. I would put a little line where the gas was and then top it up. Because he would notice if there was less gas, but he would never notice that there was more gas. And one day, zip in, we're running late into the parking spot. Me and the girls jump out. And didn't realize that I had kind of cut off the principal as I was getting to his spot. Run into class, sitting in homeroom. Some of us remember homeroom. And this is what I hear on the PA system that goes throughout the entire school. Lorraine, Campbell. Now, I could figure out how to solve a lot of problems, but having to pick my dad's car up from a tow lot? No, I know what tow drivers are like. They don't care about your car. I was so scared. The front of the building was right there. I jumped out of the classroom first floor window, ran across the lawn as everyone was laughing that I was moving the car. thing to you today is everyone has a first time driving experience. Make it pleasant, make it enjoyable. So flip it down just a little bit. It's the next one. Totally went out of line. The call to action. Your call to action and your opening are buddies. You want to open with something. Your opening and your call to action they're twins. So you want to start your speech big and you want to end your speech big. Why? Because people will remember the first thing you say and the last thing you say. The middle is questionable. That's why you need to have a system that follows. So you're going to tell me what you're going to say. Then you're going to say it. And then you're going to tell me what you've said.